y'all, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm doing a video that's gonna be a little bit different. Now, I got this idea from my guys to do this video, and then after I talked myself out of it, I was like, no, I'm not gonna do it. Maybe I'll do it like one day, or I'll do it later. And then something just it just came back to me. I know it's from my guys to like, okay, do this video. Like we said, do this video. And I'm trying my best to follow my intuition and listen to my guys because I trust them. So I'm going to be telling the story of my spiritual journey and how I became, I guess, quote unquote, spiritual, and how I developed my spiritual gifts, and just like part of like who I am and why I am the way I am. I don't know how this story is gonna go. I haven't taken any notes or anything. I'm just going like straight off the dome. I'm just talking because that's how I best communicate, and that's how I can best I just like to just go at it and just talk. So anyways, so I guess from early on in my life, I look back at a lot of things and realize that those were spiritual experiences. So going back to like when I was around 5 years old, I always had like this really, really rebellious spirit. Like I always kind of wanted to go against the grain, and I'm still like that. And I'm an Aquarius moon, so it makes sense. Like I always want to go against the grain. If I feel like I'm being a little bit too like everybody else, I would like change like drastically. So when I was around like 5 years old, I remember having like an imaginary friend, and I would play with her. I would do all type of things with her. I never told anybody about her or anything. And for the longest of time, I thought that she was real. Like I thought I was like playing with a real person. And you know how sometimes when we grow up and we become adults, we kind of forget, our memory gets a little fuzzy the younger we get. So for a long time, I thought it was a real girl. For a long time, when I would look back at memories, I'd be like thinking of this as a real girl. Like this was a real person that I was playing with. But the more that like I healed from trauma, because I've been through a whole lot of trauma in my life. I mean, I'm an 8th house person. I have an 8th house stellium. So I've been through a lot of loss, a lot of hurt, a lot of things that happened to me in secret that nobody knows about. Like I've been through so much. So yeah, that was my first like I guess spiritual experience. And I would always be like interested in things that were like out there, and I was always like a philosopher. When I was younger, I would ask what things meant and why things were like this. And I would always look up at the sky and feel like, even when I was like 5 years old, I would always look at the sky and just think, that's where I'm from, or it's something more there, or that's where I belong and stuff like that. So as I grew up, and this is why I know that I have to be a star seed or from another like galaxy or something, because when I was growing up, I used to be so grateful to be on Earth. Like it was weird. Like I would just think to myself, like, I am so happy like that I was born on Earth, and I'm so happy to be in America. Because even when I was like 6 or 7 years old, I used to feel so lucky to be born in America, because I used to feel like America is going to be the best place for anybody to be born in this time period. And I know it feels weird because it feels weird to me saying it, but that's literally how I used to think as a little kid. I used to think like that, like America is going to be the best place for me to be right now. I don't know why. I just used to always think that. And I just always have felt so grateful to be like on Earth, and I felt so connected like with Earth. And it was like, it's this I don't know, it's like it's duality, because it's a part of me that's so childlike, but then also it's a part of me that's so old and so like ancient. And anyways, when I was growing up, it's like I went through a lot of like psychological things, like psychological abuse things, messing with my head and stuff like that. So when I was in my early childhood, like maybe from pre-K to like second grade, I would always make honor roll. I was very, very, very smart. I like school was like effortless to me. Then once I got to third grade, there was like a change in my life, and I started to make bad grades, like really, really bad grades, and I started to do horrible in school. And instead of anything else, like I was like really, really like made to feel like I was just worthless and not like, basically I was brainwashed into thinking that I was stupid. So no matter how smart I was, because I look back on like me as a kid and I was like, damn, I was so smart, but like I was just brainwashed into thinking that I was stupid. And this is why I made the validation card deck, because if had I had validation as a child, my life would have went a completely different way had I been validated, had I been encouraged, had I been like complimented in any type of a way. So when I was a kid, I used to just know things. My phone's going dead. So as a kid, I used to just know things. Like I would, like an example, so I remember I was at my cousin's house. It was Easter weekend, and it's crazy because Easter weekend just passed. It was Easter weekend, and this particular weekend we wasn't doing anything major. I was just at my cousin's house. It was just chill. We didn't go anywhere. There was no barbecue or anything like that. It was just like a regular day. So her dad had asked us if we wanted to go ride to the store with him. So we like, yeah. So we go and we ride to the store with him, and he goes inside of the store, and my cousin was like, oh, I wonder what he's getting at the store. And I was like, oh, he's getting us Easter baskets. He's going to surprise us. And my cousin, she didn't really think too much of it. And then he came out of the store with 2 Easter baskets, and he surprised us. He was like, surprised us with the Easter baskets. And my cousin looked at me like, how did you know that? How did you do that? And I literally had experiences like this my entire life, but I never really saw it as like having a gift or having a spiritual gift or anything like that, because like I said, I was brainwashed into thinking that I was stupid or that I didn't know anything. So I used to think that I was just lucky. Like that, I used to call myself a lucky person, or I used to think that either I was lucky or I was good at figuring things out, kind of like pattern recognition or something like that, which I am good at pattern recognition. But I used to think that I was just a lucky person, or I was like a good guesser. That's what I thought. And another way that my spiritual gifts came across in my childhood is that, like I said, I would do horribly at school because I always felt like I was stupid. Like I had that mentality in my brain, and so that's what I lived out, because that's what people in my life made me feel. So, but I would notice every time I had a standardized test, like at the end of the year, you know how you have to take your standardized test and things like that. I never failed a standardized test in my life. And that's because I knew the answers. Like I just knew what to pick. I always knew the correct answers. So my school looked weird because it was like I would make bad grades in class, but then when I would take the standardized test where it was like multiple choice, I would always pass every single time. It was like I can just tell which answer was right just by looking at the multiple choice. That's another way that my spiritual gifts used to come through. But I like I said, I always felt like, oh, I'm just a good guesser. That's how I used to feel. And so as I got older, I used to have dreams about people before I met them too, and I used to know exactly how this person would like play a part in my life. Like when I met my kid's father, the first day I met him, I knew he was going to be a huge part of my life, and I just knew that something was gonna, I just knew he was going to be the father of my kids. I knew I was going to be with him. It was going to be something huge. I just knew it right off the bat. I knew it so well that like I kind of came towards him a little bit in the beginning, because it just, I couldn't deny what I was feeling. And also in high school, I had an experience where, I'm not going to tell the whole long story of what happened, but I basically had an experience where the janitor that had never talked to me ever before in his life came up to me and basically told me that he basically gave me a reading. He was I guess he, you know, he had his own gifts, and he came up to me and he was like, God hears me, and he told me a bunch of stuff that nobody else would ever know but God. So I knew this was like the real deal. And he basically told me that I was going to be very, very successful. He told me that I was going to grow up to be beautiful. He told me that he just told me a lot of stuff that was going to happen in my life. And he told me that he was a messenger from God. Like God sent him in order to deliver me that message. And I would have things like this happen to me all the time. Like, I remember I was going through a really, really dark time in my life. And I would have these different people off the street that had like their own spiritual gifts would literally come up to me and say, hey, you have dark energy around you. You have I've had dark people around me my entire life. So, these psychics will like come up to me like, hey, you have dark energy around you. You have dark energy around you. And I will always like ask God, like, man, why can't nobody come up to me and tell me something good? People always coming up to me and telling me that I got dark energy around me. Why can't I have light energy around me? Like, what is going on? But at the time, I didn't know that I had, like, I can look at somebody else, and this has been me for a long time. I can look at somebody else's life and tell them exactly what they need to do when they need to do it. But when it comes to my life, it was like I was blinded because I just went through so much trauma. And I don't really want to get into that in this video, but I just went through a whole lot. And like I said, I'm an 8th house person, so it took for me to lose everything. The last couple of years, it took for me to lose everything, to finally like listen to my intuition, to finally give into my spiritual gifts and use them the way that like they were meant to be used. And when I started my YouTube channel, mind you, I've started a tarot channel before that I wasn't consistent with. I didn't, you know, I was thinking of every single reason why it wasn't perfect, why it wasn't right, and this time when I started my tarot channel, it was literally out the blue. It was like I was all of a sudden healed, and I was all of a sudden had the confidence, and everything just snapped for some reason, and I just started. And it's so easy and it's so fun, and it's the first thing that I've ever done that like literally feeds my soul. Like, I love it so much. I even love it more than I thought I was gonna love it. It's crazy. And I'm like, this is what I always wanted to do. Like, even when I was a kid, I would just be in awe of like spiritual people. I would be in awe of psychics and how they change people's lives. And I've had my own psychic experiences, and like I would just be like in awe of that. Like, wow, like crazy. And when I say I have been through like some turmoil, I mean some turmoil in life. And now I'm starting to realize why I went through so much stuff. Like, I went through hell and back. And I will tell my story bit by bit on my channel. I will tell my story, but I've been through hell. When I say hell, I mean hell. And like, I've been through so much pain. And now with every single video that I do, every single reading that I do, everything is making so much sense. Everything is like, I'm realizing why I had to go through everything. Why? Because sometimes when I'm giving a message on one of my videos, it's I'm only able to give that message because I have that reference in my brain. Because if I didn't have that reference in my brain, then I wouldn't have that to give the message. And that's why I kind of am gonna stop picking a pile in my own readings, because every single reading that I give for every single pile is relevant to me in a way. Because if it wasn't relevant to me, then I wouldn't even be able to give the message. And that's why so many spiritual people that are meant to help other people go through so much turmoil and pain in their life, is because they are meant to be able to relate to everything. It's just like a preacher in church. You can't preach about anything that you haven't went through. I mean, you can, but you can only preach from a point of like something that you read, but you can't really get through to people unless you've actually been through that thing. And I'm starting to realize that's why I went through everything I went through, because I had to be able to be coming from a place of like, I've been through that, and I've been through a hell of a lot. And that's why I'm so passionate about this. And like, it's amazing. It is amazing. And so it took for me to lose everything, and I'll go into detail in another video, but it took for me to lose everything physically. I like physically lost everything. Y'all, I had a huge collection of tarot cards. I had a huge selection of tarot cards. And I lost them all. I lost everything. And to this day, I only have one deck of tarot cards to my name. And that's actually good, because having a whole lot of different tarot cards, it actually kind of blocks my intuition a little bit. I noticed that when I use less tarot, I'm able to channel more, and my readings are literally more accurate. So that's good, and I was able to find that out that way. But it took for me to lose every single thing. It took for me to lose people. It took for me to lose like delusions that I had in my mind. Like, it took for me to lose a lot of stuff, to where the only thing that I really had was my intuition. It was like, okay, it was like God was like, okay, we got to take everything from you, so it's just me and you. Because like, I need to talk to you one-on-one. Like, I don't need to have any distractions. And when I didn't have any distractions anymore, I didn't have anything left. But when I didn't have any more distractions left, I was able to focus more on my intuition, and it got stronger, and it got stronger, and it got stronger, and it got stronger. So like, I don't know why I'm being called to say, but if you're in a position where you lost everything and you literally have nothing but your spirituality, like, that's a call to action. That's a call to dive deeper, because you're going through something that you're going to eventually one day be able to help other people through and teach. And that's hard to hear when you actually going through something, but it's true. And like, I'm on the other side of it now, and it feels amazing. And my life ain't perfect, and it's not, I'm definitely not where I'm going yet, but it's just amazing. And I was just called to make this video about my spiritual experiences, and I didn't know where this video was gonna go, what all I was gonna say in it. I have had so many different spiritual experiences to where it's crazy. And like I said, I'll make one of these videos every now and again, just to let y'all get to know me better. But yeah, that's how my intuition really developed. I've always had it. It's just was a matter of me opening up to it and accepting that it was intuition. Because a lot of the times we can be so psychic and think that, oh, we're just lucky, or oh, we're just guessing, or oh, we just, you know, right things always happen to us at the very right time and stuff like that. But no, if you are thinking that you're just a lucky person, you just guess things a lot, you just, maybe it's more than that. Maybe it's something that you can hone in on, if you know what I mean. But I was called to make this video. I'm going a little blank now, so I guess that's what I was meant to be saying. I was called to make this video, let y'all get to know me better, let y'all get to know what my process is when I read. That's why most of the time I only pull one tarot card. That's why. It's because using one tarot card really helps me channel and really helps my intuition. And lately I have been getting, I told my guides that I never wanted to get like world predictions or anything like that, because I don't want to deal with worldwide news. I just want to deal with the people. I want to talk to the people. I want to read for the people. And right when I said that, I started getting like world predictions and world news. So I might make other videos about my predictions, but I'm a little scared to say, because I'm scared. Like, it's about the world, and I don't want to just like, I'm scared. I'm still scared. I'm still nervous about that. But yeah, I guess that's it. That's a little bit more about me and what I've been through and how my spiritual gifts developed and are still developing even more. And yeah, so see y'all in the next video. Thanks for listening, and yeah, bye.